is a remarkable man. When I tell you that this chap played soccer for England as an amateur before the First World War, that he batted in partnership with Jack Hobbs, which is like nowadays, say you play golf with Seve Ballesteros, and that although he's only a tiny fellow, he holds a medal for having tackled single-handed 3 violent poachers and reduced them to submission. So as you can imagine, he's an old chap who likes to have his own way. He lives now in an old folks' home where he keeps his old sporting clothes carefully pressed and his beautiful old tackle and gear in perfect order. Apart from all his lovely tackle, he owns a marvelous shotgun, which is still in his wardrobe there on his 100th birthday. His son's been trying to get it off him for some time, saying to him, I think it would be safer if you let me took it home. And he says, don't be silly, I might need it. I don't know when he first got this rod, but it's an absolutely beautiful, for the sake of the collectors I say this, it's an absolutely beautiful double-built Palacona split cane hardy rod from about 1920. And he's determined to put it together himself. He thinks that the rest of us have only fished for anything from 40 to 50 years and not quite capable of getting the ferrules exactly in line. And a perfect old Silex reel. A big old plaited heavy silk line. But one thing is certain, whatever we do today, we ain't going to do in a hurry. Now he's giving instructions to get his casts out. He's good at giving instructions. And the cast in question, believe it or not, our tapered cast is tied up with real silkworm gut. Before the days of the modern synthetics which we now use. So you have to wet it well in the water. Look at that. You can still tie the rather complicated knot that we call the tackle maker's loop without glasses. Marvelous to see the way the thing was done in 1920 with the exact tackle that he used in 1920, and he's never seen fit to alter since. It'll be a medium-sized fly, I suppose, because we're in the middle of the season, and he can tie that on without difficulty too. Now, we've all looked up and down the river for the last 2 or 3 days to look for the movement of salmon, try and make our mind where a fish might be lying, but that means nothing to him. I will show you, he said, where a fish will be lying on this stretch at this time of the year. Matter of fact, it's just under that point over there, and he's getting himself about 30 to 40 yards upstream of it. Now this will interest fishermen. A great big heavy salmon rod, a very heavy line indeed, and the fly to be cast about 40 yards to the exact spot where he wants it. And most people who start on this game find it a very heavy business. They think it's very hard work to work the rod. They'd use too much work, in fact. In vain, the experts tell them that casting is really a matter of timing. And if ever there was proof of that fact, it's now. Because this old man was really very feeble indeed, without difficulty, with his perfect timing, handle that big tackle and put that fly exactly where he wants it. Dropping right off the point where he wants it, and he's going to swing it round with the current, and you see him work his fly in the way he wants it to move in order to entice the salmon. And indeed he moved the salmon. He moved the salmon. It rolled over to his thing. But he didn't catch it. So then he decided he'd have to sit down. He sat down and he went to sleep while I looked through his flies. Marvelous set of flies, from the biggest of the deep water flies right round to the tiny greased line flies for summer, all tied by him over his lifetime. When he got up, and I'm glad he did get up because he looked to me as if he was sleeping very deep, he decided that he was going to spin for it. So we put away the fly tackle and we got out equally beautiful spinning tackle. Once again a hardy LRH spinning rod, about 50 years ago, one of the classics, and the famous Jock Scott reel, which is now a collector's piece that gets underlined in the sale catalogues. As far as he's concerned, it's still the reel he fishes with. And he spun for that salmon just as well as he cast a fly for that salmon, and once again he moved it. Once again it swung round to his bait, but he didn't take it. And by then, once again, he was very nearly done for, and it wasn't long in this that he decided he would sleep again, and this time he slept a long time, very white-faced, and we thought, well, that's enough of that. So we took him over to the trout lake nearby, and we persuaded him that his object today was to land a fish, and we'd make sure he did, but he must let us fish for it. So he agreed finally to rest, and he sat and watched, but he told us very strictly how to do it, and grumbled at us because we were a bit slow in getting one on. And finally we had one on, and his time came. He was very, very, very tired now. I suppose the truth is this is going to be the last day's fishing of his life, and he's going to stick it until it comes off. And there he is with quite a heavy trout on, and the old look of excitement comes in his face, and he keeps the tension just exactly right, even though his tackle he never touched till this moment, somebody else's tackle. All right. You can feel the excitement of that fish throbbing on the end as he's felt for probably 85 years. And when it came to netting it, he knew exactly how to do it. Don't you move the net, he said, or you'll knock him off. You keep the net where it is, I'll bring the fish over the net. I'll tell you when to lift the net. You do as I tell you. And there it was. On the 100th day of his life, a brown trout between 1.5 and 2 pounds. He decided he wanted his photograph taken with it, and a look of malignant triumph came in his eye.